Hello, everyone. My name is Camellia. I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, also known as a PMHNP, and a nursing and mental health enthusiast. And I'm getting on today, actually, just to share a brief recap. As we are all reflecting on the new year, we're reflecting on goals and the things that have happened over these past 360 days. Um, this is a time of reflection, and so I typically do that around this time of the year, as many do. And this year, I thought it would be a good idea to sort of share my own experiences and my own reflections, particularly as it relates to the PMHNP role and my experience as a PMHNP in 2022. So, really, what I want to share with you guys today are the top 5 things that I've learned as a PMHNP in 2022. And to give you guys a little bit of backdrop, many of you know I've worked in different settings, telehealth, I've worked in the emergency room, I've worked in private practice, outpatient, as a PMHNP. I've been a PMHNP for a little over 5 years. About 5.5 years actually now. And I have made changes this year, particularly as it relates to my jobs to actually just move in a different direction for various reasons. But some of the changes were unexpected. Others were a little bit more strategic and intentional to help set me up for really success and also the things that I desire continuing to do as a PMHNP. So the first thing that I've learned, and I did a video on this earlier this year, the first thing I learned about was the ins and outs of being a 1099 contractor. So most of you know there's a clear difference between being a 1099 contractor versus a W-2 employee. Unexpectedly, I made a decision to move away from the 1099 contractor position. But after some thought, some careful thought, and understanding the clear differences, one with the tax deduction not being something that takes place with a 1099 contract position, in addition to having less consistent pay or a less consistent stream of income as a 1099, a little bit more unpredictable. I decided to have my next endeavor to be a W-2 position, which I have worked before as a PMHNP. And just being able to understand the clear differences, exactly what those differences are, and how it really affects me over time, how it could affect me over time. I've really learned that process this year. So currently in a W-2 position, loving it and don't think I will do anything different aside from potentially doing a 1099 contractor position at some point later, more as a part-time or as needed or PRN position. The second thing that I've learned, guys, is the importance of working at a job that is in alignment with your ethical and moral values. So I learned this sort of quickly, but also after some time, just understanding the ramifications of being in a job that is not congruent with your ethical values. And what does that lead to? It leads to low morale. It leads to potentially burnout. And ultimately, it leads to consequences for patients because the focus, what I've learned, is steered away from patients and it's steered more on the things that are happening. And also you're not feeling, I felt that I couldn't give as much to my patients in particular settings because of the incongruency with just not being what I was ethically looking for in a position as a PMHNP and in caring for this population. Many of you may ask, what does that look like? How can that be different ethically? What are some examples? And one of the major examples that I've seen is some of the organizations that are more focused on really the compensation side of psychiatry or mental health versus the quality of care for patients. And I will always live by quality of care no matter what the compensation looks like. I do think that we're doing right by our patients ethically. And so any job that challenges that for me, I just know and I've learned that's not the right place for me. Now, everyone's a little different there, but that's one of the major things that I've learned. Number 3, I've learned to just never stop learning and keep challenging myself. As you know, as I mentioned, I'm at year 5.5. I'm really seeing growth of my communication with patients. I'm becoming a much more keen diagnostician with patients, being able to develop rapport, being able to pick up on body language, and develop active listening and continuing to hone that, as well as critical thinking skills, which are all skills that I've sort of laid out that are necessary to be successful in this career. Personally, I've also challenged myself a little bit. And, you guys probably don't know this, but I am really an introvert by nature. And so just exploring the whole YouTube channel, I get to engage with you guys, but it's a huge stretch for me to engage with a larger platform of people. And so, so far I'm loving it, but that's one of the areas that I've learned, to keep challenging myself and to continue to grow, to become the best version of myself personally and professionally. And it also benefits others, helping others along the way. The 4th thing I've learned this year, guys, is just being able the importance of keeping a work-life integration. Now, most would say that there's no such thing as balance, which I like the word integration because it really is, prioritizing based on what's going on at the time between work and life outside of work. And so I've had some major stresses, if I'm honest, this year. I've had some major stresses life-wise, but I've been able to really navigate those a lot better, in my opinion, because I have a good work-life integration. And one of the other things that I've learned along these lines is the importance of finding a go-to. So for me, a go-to is an outlet that you can just engage yourself in that allows you to de-stress, to forget about, different aspects of stress that you may have life-wise. And for me, that was joining a particular type of gym that challenges me in lots of different ways. I joined a gym. It's very rigorous and more HIIT training type of exercise. But it keyed into some of the things that I love, which is to be challenged. I've played sports the majority of my life, and so I've just developed this competitive mindset with myself of just, being able to push myself further and be able to achieve certain goals. And so what this has allowed me to do is not only it's an outlet for me, it's a stress management tool, but it's also allowed me to challenge myself physically and mentally. More so mentally, being able to push past a certain threshold, which has been very, very rewarding for me. And hopefully soon you guys will see that results are loading. I'm just sort of halfway in throughout half of the year. And so I'm really, really looking forward to continuing to sort of let myself go and in another area outside of work to continue to help me to manage things, but also to push me in other areas. And one of the things I've learned is that I'm much more efficient in other areas when I'm able to kind of take some time away and do other things and engage myself with other things. Number 5, I've learned the importance of following my purpose. And I've talked a lot about purpose on this channel. I've talked a lot about the why. What's your why? What's the reason that you're doing this every day? What's going to continue driving you and motivating you? And for me, just learning the importance of serving others. I do know that is my purpose. Whether it's patients, whether it's being a mentor to other PMHNPs or other nurse practitioners or nurses. And also I've been able to delve into the education side of things, which is another passion of mine that I've been able to do this year. So I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I've been stretched a lot. I've had some stress, significant stressors that I've managed and been able to manage and continuing to manage. However, through these things that I've learned, following my purpose, work-life integration, continuing to challenge myself and never stop learning, and the importance of working in a job that's in alignment with my ethical and moral values. Those are all things that I've learned this year in 2022. I look forward to continuing to engage with you guys. I know that many of you have messaged me, you've emailed me, you've commented here, you've asked me questions. I read every last one of your messages, so just know that if you have any other questions or anything that comes up, please feel free to ask me. If I don't know the answer, I will definitely do my due diligence and try and find the answer for you. But I definitely look forward to continuing to engage with you guys in 2023. I look forward to continued greatness as we continue to engage together, and really just to create this platform as a space of being able to learn and grow. And there's more to come that I'll share soon in 2023. So as we're ending this year, I want to say Happy New Year to you guys. And I look forward to, again, continuing to share my journey as a PMHNP in 2023.